Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulullah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Amma ba'd. First off, I want to point out, yes, I'm wearing these wireless headphones, but I'm going to do a bit of a test to see if wearing this will improve my voice. So hopefully, inshallah, it'll improve. And, today, brothers and sisters, this is the part 5 and the last of the Afterlife series that I'm doing. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about the Jannah and the Nar. So this is ultimately the final verdict. This is where you will end up eternally. It's either eternal bliss or eternal punishment. And your deeds will decide each one, and whether the mercy of Allah comes upon you. This is what decides where you will end up forever. I think we would all like to have the eternal bliss rather than the eternal punishment. Now realize that this is not for a few hours or a few days or a few weeks. No, this is forever. In Surah Al-Baqarah, the second surah, verse 80, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, and they say, meaning the Jews, they say, like back at that time, never will the fire touch us except for a few days, just a little bit. Say, have you taken a covenant with Allah, meaning have you taken an agreement with Allah? For Allah will never break His covenant, meaning break His promise or agreement. Or do you say about Allah that which you do not know? So the Jews at this time, they believed that they will not be in the fire for a long time because of the fact that they were Jews, that they believed that they were of the Jewish faith. Just because of this, they thought, we will enter the fire. Maybe we will, or maybe we will not. If we do, it will be for a little bit of time. But as Muslims, it is said that yes, we will be saved from the fire. And in Bukhari, there's a hadith where Abu Sa'id al-Khudri radiyallahu anhu, he reported that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, when the believers are saved from hellfire, they will be held at a bridge between paradise and hell. They will require each other for wrongs done in the world until they are purified and absolved. And they will be called to enter paradise by the one, meaning Allah, in whose hand is the soul of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. One of you will recognize his place in paradise better than he did his home in this world. So the believers will be saved from the fire, but they will have to serve their time in the hellfire to purify themselves of the sins that they have committed. But we shouldn't take this hadith and say, well, we'll be saved anyway, so we can just do sins, and we'll just go through some time and we'll be in paradise, But this is the thinking of the Jews that were there at the time of, I believe, Musa alayhi salam, if I'm not mistaken. So we should not repeat the mistakes of those whom, when these mistakes were made, this led to their destruction ultimately. Now let's talk about Jahannam. We'll get that out of the way. Now a lot of Muslims do not like to talk about Jahannam mainly because it makes them scared. Well, number one, it is supposed to make you scared. But the right scared is when it motivates you to do more good deeds and to try to your best to abstain from what Allah Azza wa Jal has prohibited. And if you get scared and to the point where you just don't want to hear talking about hell, then there's something going on in your iman. There's something that has to be tweaked a bit, something that you have to inshallah work on. Now, does hell exist right now, or is it going to exist later on? Yes, it does actually exist presently, and in the past, and in the future. It does exist right now. It did in the past, and now it will exist in the future. And this is confirmed in a hadith of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in Bukhari and Muslim. Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he said, when any of you dies, he is shown his position, meaning in the hereafter, morning and evening. If he is one of the people of paradise, he is shown the place of the people of paradise. If he is one of the people of hell, he is shown the place of the people of hell. He is told, meaning the person is told, this is your position until God resurrects you on the day of resurrection. So people have died back then, and people have died later on. People have died right now. So this confirms that this is actually true, that hellfire is existing right now. Also, we are shown our position in the hereafter, and may Allah Rabbul Izzah make it Jannah. May He make it Jannah, I mean. So who are the gatekeepers of hell? Well, we know that Malik is the angel who is in charge, like the main gatekeeper. In Surah Tahrim 66, Surah verse 6, Allah Azza wa Jal, He says, O you who have believed, protect yourselves and your family from a fire whose fuel is people and stones, over which are appointed angels, harsh and severe. They do not disobey Allah in what He commands them, but do what they are commanded. And also in Surah Al-Mudaththir, 74th Surah, verse 30, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, over it are 19 angels, it meaning the fire. So we know that these angels are harsh and they're severe, and they will do what is commanded by Allah, and there are 19 angels who are over the hellfire. Now these 19 angels are supervised by Malik, who is the top, like the like the supervising angel, I guess you could say. Moving on. Hellfire has 7 gates, just like, Paradise has 8 gates, which I will inshallah talk about later on when I get to Paradise. Now the 7 gates of Hellfire are Jahannam, Ladha, Saqar, Hutama, Jahim, Sa'ir, and Hawiyah. Now I could not find a reliable source about what is the difference between the gates, since there were, different answers for each one, and there was no I couldn't really find any reliable source, so I'm sorry about that. In Bukhari, our Rasul tells us that the heat of the hellfire is multiplied 70 times more than the fire in this world. Now you have to imagine how hot that is. I mean, fire can give you 1st, 2nd, and 3rd degree burns. Even if we touch it with our finger, like tiny bit, like this tiny bit we touch like something hot, it burns, it hurts really, really bad. And now imagine, the fire of hell, which is, that times 70. Imagine that. That's a lot. That is, undescribable heat. That is undescribable heat. So we should do our best to protect ourselves from the fire, which will be multiplied 70 times than the fire that is here. In Muslim, the Prophet ﷺ tells us that on the Day of Judgment, hellfire will be brought by 4.9 billion angels. Now the fire is coughing and growling, and it wants to tear away from the angels that are restraining it, because it wants to go and burn the people who have committed the sins. And the lowest of the low who are in hellfire will be the munafiqeen, the hypocrites. As Allah says in Surah An-Nisa, the 4th surah, verse 145, indeed, the hypocrites will be in the lowest depths of the fire, and never will you find for them a helper. So we should protect ourselves from hypocrisy. We should, try to avoid it. We should try our best to remain true to what we believe and true to what we are. Like, we're not something outside, we're not something inside, something outside and something else inside. We should not do that at all. In Muslim, the Prophet ﷺ, he has told us that the lowest of the fire is so deep that if someone were to throw a stone into it, it would take 7 years to reach the bottom. Now imagine how deep that is, how far. Imagine, I'll draw something to your mind. Now, obviously, these examples, these are higher. I would be I'm not comparing them, no. But to draw something to your mind, to get you like a picture, something that will help you to understand it better. Imagine you are on like a high mountain, a really high mountain. There's let's say a river at the bottom, and then you have a stone, and then you throw it. And it takes some time, but it gets down there. But this stone, the lowest depth of the hell, this stone takes 70 years. Now imagine if you are on a mountain, you threw a stone, it takes 7 years to go down. Take a long time. That'd be a while. So, that's how deep down hell is. And we also know that this should shake us. Out of 1,999 will go to hell and 1 will go to paradise. That should scare us. Out of 1,000, only 1 person will go to heaven? No, That's big odds. Like what are the odds of getting in now? What are the odds of getting into paradise? But then you remember Ya'juj and Ma'juj, and all the other disbelievers. Ya'juj and Ma'juj, they're many and many and many in quantity. So this will count for it, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not unjust. He is the most just, and He will not be unjust towards any soul. Now the food of the hellfire is the zakum. It's zakum, and this the zakum comes from the I believe this tree of zakum. It's in the hellfire, and this is what the people will eat. And in there you will be afflicted with such thirst and such hunger that you just have to eat it because you're so hungry. But this will not. It's not good at all. It's not. In Surah Dukhan, the 44th surah in the Quran, 45th verse, describing the zakum, like murky oil, it boils within the bellies. So the zakum, it will burn your insides. It will burn your insides. In Muslim and Ahmed, the Prophet ﷺ, he said that in hell, some people will have the fire up to their ankles, some to the knees, and then some to the waist, and some up to their collarbones. And what the collarbone is this. That's collarbone. This is your collarbone. So they said the fire, based on how many sins you committed, it's how much the fire is enveloping you. One of the punishments of hell is the roasting of the skin. In Surah An-Nisa, 4th Surah, verse 56, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "Indeed, those who disbelieved in our verses, we will drive them into a fire. Every time their skins are roasted through, we will replace them," meaning the skin, that burnt skin, with other skins, so they may taste the punishment. Indeed, Allah is ever exalted in might and wise. So the person who is in hell, he will be roasted, his skin will be roasted, and then a new skin will be given, brand new skin. And that process will continue and continue and continue. So there's no end to this. There is no end at all. Another punishment is being melted with boiling water. Like a lot of really, really hot boiling water. Like undescribable heat, as I said. Tirmidhi reported from Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Al-hamim," meaning the boiling water. Al-hamim is like the boiling, scalding water, will be poured on their heads and will dissolve through until it reaches their insides, and all the innards will drop out until it comes out of his feet, and everything is melted. Then he will be restored as he was. So water will be poured on you. It will go down, and then all the innards will drop out, and then the hamim, the water, it will go to your feet, and then the whole thing keeps going. So this water is not like a boiling water in a pot, like say you're making boiled eggs or something, and you have a boiling pot of water. It's hot. It's hot, really hot. But this hot is not like this kind of hot. This is, like I said, undescribable hot. And Surah Al-Qamar, in the 54th surah, verse 48, Allah Rabbul Izzah, He says, "The day they are dragged into the fire on their faces, and it will be said, taste the touch of sakar." And this is another one of the punishments, being dragged on the fire, being dragged on your face in the fire. Now, to bring something to your mind, imagine like a line of coal or amber, a bunch of like fire, like coal, for example, and fire, and embers is like the little pieces of wood that were burned. Now imagine that, and imagine your face being dragged on that. How'd that feel? You'd be burned. Your face would be burned. It would hurt really bad. Now imagine hellfire then. Imagine that kind of pain that you would be going through. Like how much hotter that would be. And like there's a hot place in hell, there's also a cold place. But this isn't like the tip of the iceberg for the people who have been roasting there. They go there, I'm cooled off now. No. It's not like that at all. This cold will be extremely cold. Cold like you never felt. In Muslim and Bukhari, Abu Hurairah radiallahu an, he said that the Prophet ﷺ said, Jahannam complained to its Lord, saying, O my Lord, parts within me have devoured each other. So Allah allowed it 2 breaths, one in the summer and the other in the winter. And this is where we get, why there's so much heat in the summer and why it's so cold in the winter. Therefore, the extreme heat that you experience on earth is caused by the heat of Jahannam, and the severe cold is due to the Zamharir, the extremely cold section of Jahannam, of the hellfire. So yeah, there is a cold and there's a hot side, and this explains, summer. In summer we have hot weather, really, really hot weather. Some places it's hotter, some places not as hot. And in the winter it's colder, and this explains, why we have summer and winter. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us from ever entering hell for any time and from the punishments of hell. Ameen. Now on to Jannah, the good part. I say, as they say, saving the best for last. The Prophet ﷺ, he will be, as we know, the first one to enter Jannah. His right footstep will be the first of the footsteps. May we be among the first to enter Jannah. Ameen. Ameen. In paradise, there is eternal happiness, contentment, peace, nourishment. Anything you want, you will have it. There's a reason in this life. In this life, we want everything. We want this, we want that, we want this house, this car, this gadget, and these clothes, and all these things we want. But it doesn't work that way. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He gives us some things that are good for us, and things that we want, Allah doesn't allow it. Because if we had everything we wanted here, what would be the point of Jannah? Because in Jannah, you have everything that you want. Anything you want, you will have it. So this is the point. So there would be no point in creating Jannah if here you could have anything you wanted. And there are no more ill feelings. There's no more anger, hate, fear, jealousy. All ill feelings will be gone. There will be peace there. In Tirmidhi, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he said, Allah has said, I have prepared for my righteous servants what no eye has seen, what no ear has heard, and what no heart has conceived. So there are things in Jannah we have not seen, heard, or understood at all. It's just a completely different world. It's nothing like this nothing like this earth at all. It's nothing like this world that we know. It's not like that at all. It's a whole different world. Nothing we have ever, come in contact with. Nothing we've ever, lived in at all. In Tirmidhi, the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he told us about the buildings in Jannah. Imagine, we see like skyscrapers and we think, wow, look at how big they are, how shiny they are, We look at that. So listen to what Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam says about the buildings of Jannah. He sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, bricks of gold and silver and mortar, meaning like the bowl, this bowl with like a, I don't know how you describe it, like a thick, tiny stick, like about like this long, and you use it to like grind things, like this. Use it to grind things into like powder, like for example, like black peppers. Black peppers are little like circles, little spheres, and you put them in there, and then you beat it, and then you grind it out, and then it becomes like a powder. So that kind of thing of fragrant musk, and so it's like a mortar, like this thing that I described to you, of fragrant musk, pebbles of pearl and sapphire, and soil of saffron. Whoever enters it is filled with joy and will never feel miserable at all. He will live there forever and never die. Their clothes will never wear out, and their youth will never fade. So there are so many things to look forward to go into Jannah. But this is such a great reward, you must remember. And I must remember, most importantly. So to get a great reward, this requires a great amount of work. We have to work hard to achieve this goal, but it will be worth it in the end. It will be difficult, no doubt, but in the long run, you will not regret the work that you have done at all. Take it for example, like, you don't expect, just sit back, to bring something in your mind. Say you're trying to look for a job. I'll give you an easy example. And then, you're trying to find a job, and then you say, oh, I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to wait for the job to come to me. Is this the kind of attitude you're supposed to have? No, you're not supposed to have this attitude. And with Jannah as well, you think you're just going to sit here and, do nothing? And then you'll have Jannah like that? No, there has to be some effort. And inshallah, we all will put that effort in. Bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. So now, like the eight gates that I've come to now, which I said I would talk about, of Jannah, are the gate of Salah, the gate of prayer, the gate of Jihad, giving your money, your life, in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to help in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The gate of Riyyan, this is for fasting in Ramadan as well as the voluntary fasting. The gate of Sadaqah, which is the voluntary charity. This is not Zakah. Zakah is not included here. This is just voluntary charity that you just give out. The gate of Iman, people will enter through here without any judgment at all. The gate of Kazimin al-Ghayz wal-Afina anin-nas. That's a lot. This is for those who control their anger and forgive and pardon people for their mistakes. So this is the gate, like I said, that people who controlled their anger and kept their anger, didn't let their anger out, and they forgave and pardoned people for the mistakes that they made. The gate of Razin is for those who were satisfied with what Allah has given them here in this dunya, and they don't fight for the world, and they don't get jealous about what other people have. They are satisfied with what they have, and they are grateful for what they have. And finally, the gate of Tawbah. The Prophet ﷺ told us that this gate is open all the time, because Allah is really merciful. So, and we all, inshallah, we do tawbah, we make tawbah and istighfar. So this gate is open all the time. Some facts: there is no sleep in Jannah at all. Now imagine, can you imagine actually? This comes to my mind now. Can you imagine, being up all the time, never sleeping? Can you ever imagine that? Sleep is something that's so essential to us, in life. It's something so essential. It's something that brings comfort to us. Can you imagine, you don't have to sleep at all? Can you imagine that? It's mind-boggling. But this is Jannah, this is not like our world. You will not sleep and you will not feel tired at all, which is a really great thing, mashallah. You don't feel tired, alhamdulillah. There is wine in Jannah, but to be clear, this is not like the wine that you find in stores. No, this is the wine that does not cause intoxication and headaches, which is stated in Surah Safat. There will be rivers of drinks such as fresh water, milk that never changes in its taste. Like you have milk for a certain time, it has an expiration date, best buy, and then the date. Because eventually milk will become sour. It won't taste good. It won't be good to drink. But there will be a river where milk, it will be the same taste. It will never change. And there will be a river of pure honey, and it won't, this is not like, the honey, you go to the supermarket and you get like a bottle. No, this is, honey of the Jannah. Nothing can be compared to this at all. As well as, all different kinds of fruits. This is described in Surah Muhammad. Now, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was asked how the people will relieve themselves, meaning how do people use the bathroom there. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, they relieve themselves by perspirizing, which means they sweat through their skin, and its fragrance will be that of musk, and all stomachs will have become lean. So in Jannah, you do not have to use the bathroom at all. It's so mind-boggling. You think about it. All these things that we do. We sleep, we use the bathroom, but there we don't have to. It's odd. I mean, odd's not the right word. It's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling. Yeah, that's the right word. Ibn Qayyim, he gives a description of Jannah. The tree's trunks, how you see a tree, the wood, that's the trunk. The trunk of the tree is made of gold and silver. The leaves of the trees are softer than the softest fabric. Now imagine how good soft fabrics of this world are, how good they are, and how good they feel on your skin. The leaves there will be even softer than that. Allahu Akbar. The cups, to use for drinking will be crystal clear. They will be clear. You can see through them, and they will be made of gold and silver. And yes, in Jannah, the gold and silver, it will be see-through. You can see through it. It will be clear. And the roof of the Jannah is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, his arsh. Meaning his throne. The clothing is of silk and gold. The blankets, pause right there. Clothing is of silk and gold. Silk is actually, you can wear silk, but only the women can wear silk. Men are not allowed to wear silk at all. So in Jannah, men will be able to wear silk, and women already wear silk here, and they wear silk there as well. But this silk here is not like the silk of Jannah. The blankets are also made of the finest silk as well. The shade, of like the tree. So the fast rider, he will not escape the shade of the tree for 100 years. He will, the fast rider, when he's riding in the shade of this tree, for 100 years, he will not escape it at all. So these trees are, absolutely massive. They are huge. They are huge trees. These are huge trees, These are not like, what's a good example? Like, you go into the forest, you see trees all the way up. They rise and they rise, But this, 100 years worth of traveling, and you still wouldn't have escaped that tree at all. The shade of that tree, subhanAllah. The faces of the people of Jannah are like the image of the moon. As regards to the age, you will be 33 years old. So you will be young in Jannah, generally. What you will hear are the hur singing, and the hur are a beautiful creation of Allah. Some facts about the hur to enlighten the young men. Their youth never leaves. If everybody were to see her, meaning the hur, they would believe in Allah. Their eyes would be shut to everything other than her. She would fill what is between the heavens and the earth with a beautiful wind, and the light of the sun would be outshone by her, subhanAllah. And to mention a few of them, her attention is restricted to her husband, so she only desires him. So don't worry, guys, the hur is only yours. The hur that you have is only yours. Don't worry. Allahu Akbar. No one will ever become bored of the hur at all. When you meet with Allah and the day of increase, meaning the day of increase is meaning the good deeds. But who are you meeting here? Allah. You are meeting Allah. Now imagine this. You are meeting Rabbul Alameen, the Lord of the worlds. It's mind-blowing. So a caller will call out, "O people of paradise, your Lord, blessed and exalted, requests you to visit him, so come to visit him." So they, may we be among them, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, will say, "We hear and obey." When we get to the place of meeting, meaning the people, when the people get to the place of meeting, Allah will order his chair be brought. Then seatings of light, pearls, gemstones, gold and silver will come. And the lowest in the rank will sit on sheets of musk. And they will not see those who will be seated. So imagine how big, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, we will be in Jannah, inshallah. Then once the people are comfortable and seated, the caller will call, "O people of paradise, you have an appointment with Allah in which he wishes to reward you." Then the people will say, "And what is that reward? Has he not already made our faces bright and made our scales heavy," meaning the scales and deeds, "entered us into paradise and pushed us away from the fire?" Then a light will shine and it will compass the heaven. The people will look and find that it is Allah, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah will say, "O people of paradise, peace be upon you, salamun alayk, assalamu alaykum. That people respond, O Allah, you are peace, and from you is peace. Blessed are you, O possessor of majesty and honor. So Allah will laugh, Allahu Akbar. To hear Allah laugh, to see Allah, to meet Allah, to talk to Allah. What an honor it is bestowed upon the people of Jannah. And He will say, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will say, O people of paradise, where are those who used to obey me without having ever seen me? This is the day of increase. Then the people will say, we are pleased, so be pleased with us. So Allah Rabbul Izzah will say, O people of paradise, if I were not pleased with you, I would not have made you inhabitants of my paradise. So ask of me. So what do you think they will ask Allah for? What do you think? What are the people of Jannah going to ask for? Allahu Akbar. They will all say, show us your face so that we may see it. Allahu Akbar. Now Allah, to tell you, is wearing a covering, so they cannot see His subhanahu wa ta'ala's face. So, Allahu Akbar. Allah will remove the covering, and the nur of Allah will encompass them, and if Allah had not willed for them to be burned, they would have burned. SubhanAllah, you think about this stuff, and it just, boosts you, and it makes you feel good, and it, just wants you, just motivates you. You think, I want that. I want to be them. I want to meet Allah. It just motivates you to keep going. You think about it. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us all the highest rank in Jannah with Him subhanahu wa ta'ala, with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, with the Sahaba and Sahabiyat radiyallahu anhum, with the Anbiya and the Mursaleen alayhim as-salatu was-salam, and all the righteous people. Again, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us from the nar, and may He save us from the punishments of the nar. Ameen. So this is the fifth and final episode of the Afterlife. I hope you all have benefited from this, and I hope I benefit from this as well. And I hope that I myself, firstly, can take heed of this, and I hope that all of you can take heed from this, and I hope that we can all become better Muslims and better people. Ameen. Okay, inshallah, I hope you all have benefited from this video, and if you could please share this with your friends and your family, so this way they can benefit from this as well. And next, and I will see you, inshallah ta'ala. I leave you all in peace until next time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.